Hello and welcome to On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. We have come here at Katomi, at the home of the former Vice President of Uganda, Professor Gilbert Bukenya. He's also Member of Parliament for Busiro North constituency. Professor Bukenya has been in the news. Everybody is saying that he's focused on the presidency come 2016. And that is our subject of discussion tonight. Professor Bukenya, welcome to the show. You're on the spot tonight.
Thanks very much, Patrick.
Everybody is saying that Gilbert Bukenya, former VP, MP Busiro North constituency, is focused, in fact, super focused on the presidency come 2016. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. I am in, I'm determined, I'm not fearing anything, and I want to compete for presidential elections come 2016.
I met you about 10 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago to be precise, and you had great admiration for the man that is running the country today. I'm talking about President Museveni. And it appears to me he's still strong, he's still available, and probably still coming in 2016. If that was your winning formula so many years ago, why change it?
Oh, many things change. There is, it's absolutely true. I admired President Museveni. Some people, of course, when I praise him, they think that I'm doing a bad thing. No. At the time of his coming into power, President Museveni had very good ideas. And I'll mention a few. He struggled to bring about democracy in this country. He struggled to bring about peace, because by the time he came in, this country was chaotic. Everybody was killing each other. In fact, this country was known as extrajudicial killing country. He also brought in a kickstart for the development of the country. You remember people used to say, for us we are going to give President Museveni because we can sleep in our own houses. Things have changed. Now, what has changed? We now begin to see some degree of extrajudicial killing. I always talk about the incident which occurred at Kalerwe, where I think Kiza Besigye must have been walking through Kalerwe, and some people were there. It's a very big market, and there was a woman with a little baby selling tomatoes. Behind that selling of his her tomato was her house. So these people came, started firing tear gases. The woman ran with her baby into their own home, the sanctuary they had in their life. And a policeman went straight into the door and shot a tear gas inside. That's terrible. That's not acceptable. And then you have seen incidences where someone is hit with a bullet on his head.
Somebody listening and watching you tonight, former VP,
Yes.
Professor Gilbert Bukenya, would wonder why you are able to precisely pinpoint the flaws of the government today. The same government that has not changed much even when you are VP. In fact, one would say you are sour graping.
No, I'm not sour graping. When I was VP, we could talk. If there was a problem, we could talk and discuss and change our ways. These days, it's not talking. It is a man's word, and it prevails. A man's word is prevailing on many laws.
Are you implying that this government has stopped listening because Professor Gilbert Bukenya is out of the presidency?
No. I think it is a process of overstay in a government. It's a process of overstay. When you overstay, you become overconfident. You do things the way you want them to be done. In fact, today, the systems are broken down. The system is now smaller than the political system.
The breaking down of the system of Uganda, the governance issue and the leadership issue, if there's a problem with it, Professor Gilbert Bukenya, you are also culpable.
Well, to a certain degree. But if you're a student of learning, You learn the good and you learn the bad. Then you start weighing yourselves and say, well, the bads are now much more than the goods. So I don't regret having been into the system. But today, the system is very much eroded. Why should the president be able to solve the issue of teachers on strike? Our time, if any group striked, the system managed that strike. Why should the president be the one to solve the issue of a land and a landlord? Why should the president be the one to say, there are no drugs, you go and buy drugs? That means the system is slowly breaking down. And it's high time now we have a new system, a new regime that can strengthen the system, and the system works properly without the interference of the politics.
For those Ugandans who want to breathe a fresh air of a new leadership,
yes,
do you really think they are looking at you, Professor Gilbert Bukenya, with all respect, as part of the fresh air?
Absolutely. They are. Because fresh air is acquired through experience. Fresh air does not just jump out of the vacuum and you get fresh air. The experience is very, very important. The capacity to know where things went wrong is very, very important. The capacity to know at the level of development right now, what do we need to put in place? And I'm willing to do that.
You come with the baggage of the old and the same.
Yes.
The politics that is around, that the very politics you want to criticize about, you come with the baggage with it because people think that is part and parcel of you.
It's fantastic to have a baggage because in that baggage you look at it and look at the goods and you look at the bads. If you have no experience and you have no baggage, then you cannot manage a country. A country is managed by either bad experience or good experience, putting them together and forging a way forward. I wouldn't like someone to jump from, let's say, a university, boom. After qualifying from university, you come and become a leader. You lead by experimentation.
So what are going to be the key things you want to advance, just in case you made in 2016, the pull factors for you to jump into this?
Superb. The first thing is to build the institution. We build the institution so that the institution of civil service, of civil societies is strong and able to criticize what we do in the politics. The permanent secretary should be a permanent secretary, should be managing his responsibility and should be accountable. It should not be interrupted. If I am in education, let us manage the education through the technical know-how, and if things go wrong, we are accountable. I want to separate politics from the institution of development. In Britain, let's say, for example, there may be no prime minister for 6 months. The system will move. In America, there may be no president for 6 months, even a year, the system will move. But here, if there is no president for 1 month, everything will collapse. Because you get a permanent secretary, he's unable to act on anything because he's waiting for the wise advice from the president.
At one time, Professor Gilbert, you had mastered the political ideology of President Museveni to the extent that many saw you walked like him, you talked like him, you gestured like him, and you thought like him. Why would Ugandans have a man, with all respect, who is more or less of a photocopy, yet the original is there?
Photocopy. I'm not a photocopy, but I read and I understand. And the ideology of President Museveni was very good. The ideology that looks at bringing in a self-sustaining economy is a good one. The ideology of looking after the poor people is a good one. However, the implementation mechanisms have failed. I still believe in the center left. Let people develop, let people make money, let them enjoy, but let's not leave the poor people suffering alone. Let them bring them along. Let's have a social service that helps them. When they go to a health center, they should have drugs there. If their children cannot afford schooling, they should be helped.
These poor people you talk about have been given a land law that caters for the tenants of their land. These poor people you talk about, especially here in Buganda, the Biaffe have been returned to the Kabaka. Which card are you going to play? Especially here in Buganda, now that the Biaffe have been returned.
Patrick, if I take your coat and I put it on, and time comes, and I give you back your coat, I don't think that someone should praise himself. It's your coat, I took it, I'm giving it back to you. I shouldn't call newsmen and everybody to excite people because these were yours. I'm not giving them back to you because I'm giving you something new. In fact, Biaffe is something very funny. When the Asians came back here, they were given back their property. Was there any fuss? Was there any drumming? They were just being returned to them what belongs to them. The same applies to this thing you call a Biaffe. They belonged to Buganda, and they must have been returned. There was no need even to write all those letters at all. So that one is not a credit. It's not a credit.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we ask Professor Gilbert Bukenya. In 2010, he had indicated that he was going to retire from active politics. What changed since 2010? But go ahead.